Alright, this is just gonna be another one of those videos where I talk over a bunch of games. The one I uploaded last time, the audio was a bit too, well, the music was too loud and my voice was too low, but I think it'll sound better this time, or at least I hope it does. But anyway, I'm just gonna start now. Now this first game here is against DDD, I think? I'm pretty sure because he has like the DDD avatar. Normally I don't use these accessories, but I was using the Radiant Typhoon stuff, and not that it really matters, but sometimes, like, you know, people will or will not ask certain things based on your stuff, so I was trying to LARP as a Maliss player. The name I have is Lily from Lulu to Lily, currently airing. Pretty good anime, but anyway, into the game. As you can see, I have an amazing hand if I were to be going first, but I don't, so we'll just ignore that for now. First thing you'll notice is I have a Maxi, it's against DDD. Now, I think this deck is pretty good, but most of the time, like, I don't know how to interact with it. Now, I didn't Maxi there because I don't know if they run Gamma or something, and I don't want to have to sit through some gigantic combo because I played into a Gamma. And he's like a combo deck, so I can just Gamma after anyway when he goes into Gilgamesh, or at least that's what I was thinking. So he summons his dude, I try to Maxi. He goes into Gilgamesh like I was saying, I get a draw and he draws. Now, I'll be honest here, I have no clue what this deck does under Maxi, but either way, he was like just comboing. He has a lot of royals, so I guess, and he has like the DDD avatar, which didn't mean to click that. So I would assume he's like a really good player, and like he had like top 500, a few of those titles I think. So I would just assume he's someone who really likes DDD and can play it well. Because he clearly knows how to combo under draw, and I honestly didn't even know a DDD could combo under draw. But I wish this was a bit faster, because like I feel like I'm just wasting time when I have to like just sit through here. Just like, I don't know, like, how's the weather today? But anyway, he should be making a Caesar soon, yeah. He goes into another Gilgamesh, and he pendulum summons again. Like that's like the third pendulum summon, I think. I didn't even know I could do it that many times, but whatever. And finally, he ends on a 4 material Machina, so he can steal my stuff. And he sets this trap that where is it? Oh yeah, the trap that he added earlier. It prevents me from targeting his spells and traps, and his stuff from being tributed and super polished, so I guess that's a pretty good end board piece. But anyway, it's my turn now. And I draw... what did I draw? Widow? Yeah. So first thing I'm gonna do, like I could search L down, but I don't want any weird stuff happening, so I try to go for the MST to get rid of that anti-targeting thing, because it, like, my brain power is pretty limited when it comes to pendulum decks like this, so I just wanted to get rid of the trap, since it's like the only back row. And it's a good way to get 3 spells from Grave Widow. And I have called by for Ash Blossom if he has that, or Droll, and I do have Thrust for Engage. So first thing, Thrust for Engage. He doesn't have a hand trap. Thrust for Widow, I'm gonna steal the Maki next, because that's the only interaction here that really matters to me. I can just play around this by not activating Ray or Linkage. I try to steal the Maki next, it goes through. I go for Kagari into, what is this, Engage. I switched that to attack. Now I was thinking about attacking, and I was about to click on battle phase, but I didn't want to lose, so I took a good minute to read these cards, and this guy has like, if he's destroyed by battle, you could summon stuff. And this guy has it as well, and this one, so I was like, what the heck, how do I remove all these things without actually running them over? So I just made Zeke to banish the Caesar, because he had like some effect where you add dark contracts, and those are like the ones that let you combo, so I couldn't be having that. So now I searched for Hornet drones. Now, this season I've been running into a lot of retaliating C, so instead of going for linkage, I'm just like scarred, and I always go for drones and link off the token and something else into 0 if I need to go into 0, because I lost like one game to retaliating C, and I noticed that a lot of people are running it now, so I don't know. I think it's something you can play around, so I think the drones value has really gone up with how many retaliating C opponents there are. But anyway, I draw into a vision off the engage. I activate it, I draw another droplet, so I pitch it, and I go for the drones into Hayate. And now I go for Amatsu. I go battle phase, attack directly, send Rose. I go Amatsu attack Siegfried, and I target Hayate and I think one of his scales, yeah. Because like, I wasn't doing a lot of reading, I was just trying to look for important effects, and it looked like the 5 was the good one, but maybe I should have gotten rid of the 0 scale, because the 0 is a pretty strong number as a scale, at least I think. And now I go into 0, add back engage. I run over the middle guy because he doesn't have a floating effect. I search for Lemnis, and I sack the daylight out of this dude by drawing another engage. So like, even though your opponents play well, this is what I don't like about Striker sometimes. Like, it was gonna be a pretty close game, but then I just drew the other engage. But you know, if you're given the stuff to win, you might as well use them, because like, I wasn't gonna have all of this extra stuff that would completely crush his follow-up. But you know, that just happens sometimes, and like, I don't know, I really don't like that about engage. And now I add back the MST to deal, no wait, I was gonna say I pop something, but no, I shuffle back 4, I should have shuffled back 3 of each, because you want to keep the extra spells engraved in case you get another Lemnis and you want to make that counter bigger. So that was a misplay, should have been 3 of each, but either way I bounced 2 of his dudes. So since that was like, at least in my opinion, the most effective way to get rid of them without them triggering their floating effects. And now I do this because I bounced one of his synchros, and this is the other synchro, and I know they have this like really big dude, it's right here, where you can banish a fusion, synchro, exceed, and pendulum. So I didn't want him to just like randomly summon that out his extra deck, because I don't know if he runs it, he has 5 cards left, because like when it's summoned it can just like negate your board and attack a bunch of times. And I didn't want anything weird happening, so I also get rid of his fusion. I know he has another one, but I can reset Shark Cannon to get rid of a fusion too. So he'll have to get another Synchro and Fusion engraved in case he wants to summon his big DDD Ultimate Doom guy. So he does that, takes 1,000. He puts another scale, I don't want anything funny happening, so I pop the scale, he pops that. He summons this thing, I didn't even bother reading it, I just steal it. And now I get rid of the other fusion before my zones are clogged. He does this, like, I didn't even know that thing had a graveyard effect, honestly. But now he summons the, what's her name? Doom Queen Machinex. And I pop this thing because it like gets banished when it leaves the field. And he chooses to pop my Ray, but I have, what do you call it, engraved Lemnis, and I can banish that. Now, honestly, I should have triggered Rose there, in case he had like some other way to play, I don't know, the other body on board. And I could have also sent the Rose for a droplet in case he had another body. But, so that was like an actual misplay by me, I could have lost because of that. But either way, now I get to set my engage, and he gets his Caesar and his Doom Queen back. Now I get Ray, draw a Widow, and I draw the other engage off of it. And I get to like, oh, that's so unfair, but whatever. I get to steal his 2 guys and attack directly, and he gives up. Now that was a pretty long first game to talk over. Hopefully the other games are faster. This guy's name is Fno0. I won the coin flip here, I get to go first. I go for Elden, search Swen, go for Swen, search Vision, overlay for Camellia, I go for Vision, draw 2, discard 1, I draw Rose, the absolute worst thing to happen. I send an Engage, my normal Rose, add back the Engage. I'm pretty sure this guy wasn't like showing any toggles, so I just decided to normal Rose. I get to make 0, I add the Engage. Now he hasn't drolled me, so I go for a multi-roll here, and I set the droplet in case he was like saving an Ash or something, I don't know. So now I can do both engages with 3 spells engraved. So I search a Widow, I draw a D barrier, and I search a Lemnis in case he has Callboy for my 0. I set 3, and I don't put anything else because I want to have 3 for Lemnis, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. And it's his turn. He goes battle phase and he activates evenly, and I was just thinking who actually plays this card. But you know that just happens sometimes. So I bounce, like I said, I was bouncing 3. I decide to return the Widow and the multi-roll, because I don't know what I'm playing against. And he activates Onomatopoeia and pitches something. Like I don't want him getting 2 because I've seen what this deck can do, and I don't know if it's the actual Ryuge one or a Utopia deck. So, but maybe I should have just drolled him on res, but he activates Talents and he chooses to take it. Now, I personally don't care if he takes it because I'm pretty sure this deck has no way to get 0 off board because they always XCs lock themselves. The only way to get rid of it would be Ice Ryuge. And he normals Golden Burr, summons Gaga 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 Girl, or maybe that was one too many Gas. He adds a card that search triggers and I droll him. Now this is the part where I just sit here quietly while watching him combo. He makes Eclipse Twins and he summons a Gaga Gaga Magician. He overlays those for Utopic Zexal. And then he summons another Xyz and he makes a second Utopic Zexal. Now at this point my brain was pretty fried because there's a Zexal with Eclipse Twins under it, which means if I were to ever kill this later, it could become a problem, like if he detaches, like if I pop this one with 0 in the end phase, and then later on my turn I activate something, and he detaches the Eclipse Twins, he could bring this back, and that would be extremely annoying. So unfortunately I think I have to pop the one that has the Eclipse Twins on it and look pretty low IQ, but at least that's how I was thinking. Because I didn't want to deal with it like a fourth time basically. So I go directly into 0 and I pop another Utopic, whatever it's called. I also chain this to just pop a card. And I pop the other one, and he goes into, or I go into this, banish his Utopic, whatever. He steals my Zeke, but I don't care. I try to take the Zeke back. 15, 15. Hayate. Yeah, I don't think I could have killed there. So I send the engage, get rid of Zeke. Go for Kagri, add back engage. I search a Lemnis because both of my zeros are engraved. And I draw a Widow, that was like really lucky. But I was gonna search one anyway with Shizuku, so I can do something else. If I do this, I banish his Eclipse Twins, because it might be a problem if he has like a, what's it called, Detonator? And I banished the Kage to Kage, so he can't put the Eclipse Twins back. Now, he activates this dude, and he has a second Kage to Kage. I think they usually only run one. Oh, it's Onomat Kage, my bad. And I bounce it so I don't have to deal with it later. Now, I wasn't reading here, I don't know the Gugu Gaga cards that well. I didn't know there was one that could summon itself if you control a Gugu Gaga card. But he summons it, and I just decided to steal that before he can detach something and get a search effect. And now I set my Widow, and he summons his Utopic whatever. And this time it doesn't have any materials, so I can just play freely. And I think he just gives up after this. Cause it's pretty clear he's dead. Yeah, I just have to steal them with Widow. Next is this. I don't remember what this was. I won the coin flip here. Now, I hate hands like these because if I start with Swen and it gets impermed, I would have to normal an Ashe or a Max C to go into Camellia, and that would suck. So, but I risk it anyway. I didn't want to give up a hand trap. I wanted my start to be as strong as possible, basically. So I search Eldam, search the MST, go into Camellia, send a Shark Cannon. This is one thing I don't like, because usually I run Area 0 and I would send it there, because I do value Shark Cannon as a card, but I've been pretty much sending it along with extra copies of Linkage or Widow. It feels pretty weird to send cards I actually want to use. That's why I like having Area 0 at times to run, but I didn't run it this season. Even though I really do like the card, it's just I think my deck list didn't have much space. But either way, I had the reason I did it like this was because to play around Retaliating C basically. Because if I used Linkage and he had Retaliating C, that would be pretty bad. So I add an Engage, and it doesn't look like he's ashing me or anything, so I add the Widow. I add the Linkage, and I set 5. I don't even remember what this dude was playing, but I max C in draw phase, so he ashes it, so now my 0 is not getting ashed, which is pretty nice. He activates, this is Desires, this is Striker. He goes Talents to draw 2. He goes Linkage, I pop it. Now honestly, I shouldn't have chained 0 here. It's just that my brain wasn't working correctly. Because he would have been able to pop or send either of those with whatever. But for some reason he summons 0 first, and then he would have to send his 0 with the Linkage. And like that, then he just doesn't get the effect. So you get why that was pretty bad. Next is against some guy called Noob. I don't remember what he's playing either. But hopefully it's a good game. Oh my god, my hand is insane and I'm going first. I draw it with Vision and draw phase. I go, now, I've been saying I've been playing around Retaliating C, but my greed was immense here. It was unrivaled. I saw that I can get the 3 bonus draws off of Engage, and I just went for it. I didn't care. So I go for Lemnis, and I get drolled. And I went for Lemnis because I had a Widow engraved, so even if I do get drolled, I can add it back with Kagari. And the reason I didn't go straight into Kagari is because if I were to get drolled and target and engage, I would look like a clown. But I chained this to add the MST, very valuable interruption in my opinion. Now I add the, what do you call it, Linkage back. So now I can go into 0 and add the Widow that's in my grave. So even though I was greedy, I was also playing around Droll at the same time. So I do have insane follow-up with 2 engages, and my opponent normal summons Rosin. Interestingly, he did not put this Rosin in the 0 zone, no clue why. And he doesn't actually have a Vanquish Soul for her to dodge the Widow. He does have a Holly Sue though, and he has a Mad Love in hand. He goes for Holly Sue Fire Dark summon Borger. He does Borger to draw, and I troll him. It's pretty fair to troll him there. Like, he trolled me. He goes into a rock. He adds back Sue. He tries to run my 0 over, so I bounce his rock. And I tag out to get rid of the Borger because I really hate this card and I want it in the grave. He has an Izuna. He goes into Lupus. I go into Kaguri. I add back the Engage, and I chain Lemnis, and I link off his Rosin so he doesn't get it back, and I banish the Lupus so he'll just have Izuna. And he goes into Typhon, and I literally don't care. I actually want him to put Rose in my hand, so I have follow-up. And I do it, actually that may have been slightly annoying because I know he has Sue and he could like summon stuff if I just summon Rose. But I go for Widow. He didn't roll me. I go for multi-roll. I activate multi-roll. I search Ray. I get rid of Zeke. Now he can't respond. I tag out. I swing with Hayate. I forced a battle phase so he can't sue and interrupt my plans to kill him. He would have to do it there to not die. I send a, what do you call it, Lemnis Gate because I want to kill him. I do this to steal his Typhon. I chain drones so Rose can trigger in hand after the Lemnis, and it would summon Rose, and then she would link off, or then the token would get linked off into a link, and I would swing for a 3000 plus the 2900 from Typhon, and that would be game. Next is This game was pretty bad because the opponent like misplayed pretty bad, so I'm actually just gonna skip that one and go for this, because like it's not that like your opponents can misplay, and that shouldn't like affect how you value your own play, but I just don't think there's anything to learn from the opponents playing like not that well, and that's what one of those games was. So this hand I have Droll, Maxi, Ash, and Droplet. Pretty bad hand. And it's against Kewl Tune, so I decide to not Maxi and just Droll him on res. And he Droll and calls by, I have a second Droll. He can't do much. And he summons Remix, pops my Droplet. And he's gonna probably remix and draw phase. Oh, I draw a Swin, I summon it. I go for Chant. I search Eldam. And I do Eldam for MST. I go battle phase to try to run that over, but he can tag out. And I did this to try to get the draw, but he has Max C, so that's pretty rough. He adds the Ash, and he summons back Mix. He searches Rico. Now, he has a Clip, and he could activate Clip. Like if I go Camellia, he can activate Clip, summon Clip, go into Red Seal or RS, it's called in English, and then the Mix would pop one of my guys, or it would pop Camellia, and he would still have RS, so I can't actually win, and I decided to give up because of that. Because it's basically not winnable. I would have to have drawn better, and it's unfortunate, but that does happen sometimes. And I just assumed my opponent wasn't brain damaged. So next is this game. I won the coin flip here. I go first, draw phase vision. He activates Delta, and I'm just thinking, what the heck? I mean, it's obviously Kewl Tune, but that's annoying. I didn't want to chain in case he had a retaliating C, because that's happened to me one too many times. So first I activate this, and he ashes. So now I activate Ray. I try to add engage back, and he bells, and I was like, oh my god. And I didn't really have a choice at this point, so if he had retaliating C, I just accepted that I was gonna lose. So I go for 0, I add an engage, and luckily I don't get rolled or anything. I add I get Widow here, and I draw a Swen. Now I thought about what to do here, and I decided to summon his bell, summon Swen, activate chant, search Eldam, go for Eldam, search MST, and I go into Camellia even though I can't send, and now I link them off into Zeke because Zeke can banish itself and then I'll have follow-up because he only has 2 cards, so there's a pretty good chance that I could actually survive. And even if like he ashes my 0, I definitely want to have follow-up because I have Ray and Grave, so even if like it gets back to my turn and Zeke gets popped, Ray can come back. So I banish the Zeke, I'll have follow-up, and I have a Widow for his normal and an MST in case he has the Feel spell. And he goes for Overtake for Mix, and he activates it, and I don't want to deal with that, so I try to steal it. If he has KTS or Kewl Tune Synchro, I might lose, but I just decide to, if he has it, he has it. He goes for Rico, and he searches Rotary. No, I didn't want to deal with that, so I'm just gonna pop it, and he gives up. Now even though that wasn't that great, I did get to show a cool situation where you can actually get follow-up with the Radiant Typhoon stuff, so that was cool. Next is against a guy called Chloe, or maybe it's a girl. But I'll just wait for this one to start too. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't be cracking my knuckles on stream. It's probably an unpleasant sound. So I get draw phase, search, I probably chant for Eldam. Now I Eldam, search Swen, search Vision, go into Camellia, and this guy has Holly Sue. He has a second Holly Sue as well. He tries to steal my Camellia, but luckily I skillfully drew a Widow Anchor. And he just gives up. And next is this guy, I don't remember what he was playing. This is, I won the coin flip here. Before this I was having like an extreme, like a super awful list of coin flip losses. But this deck is really good going first, at least the Radiant Typhoon version. So I get to go first, I draw a chant, so I obviously do that and draw phase. And he shifters, and I was like, what the hell? So I add Eldam. Now this is unfortunate, I would have had an insane start. I get for, and I'm thinking this is Maliss, honestly. Because he has like all the anime girl accessories. And I get to vision and draw and discard. Like maybe I shouldn't have done that, but I was feeling like I want to try to draw Bell or Ash or Widows or something so I can actually win. If I go Camellia, then I go to Shizuku, and I go Thrust to set Rhoda for Ray in case my Shizuku dies, which is extremely likely. And I set the D barrier, and I search engage for follow-up. So I have 2 hand traps I can't use because Shifter is active, a follow-up that could be popped, follow-up in hand, and a D barrier. And my opponent has Stake Your Soul, Holly Sue for Caesar. And my life was flashing before my eyes when I saw the Stake Your Soul, but luckily it's only Caesar and he has no other plays and it has to get bounced to hand. And I draw a Bell. Now, hand traps against VSK9, he could have Azuna, that would be annoying. But either way, I start off with Rhoda, and I search Ray, now I search Widow because I know he has a pretty annoying group of cards. And he summons this dude, I max C for the draw, and to punish any further bad behavior outbreaks. And normally I wouldn't do this because this could very well be call by, but I had the bell in hand, so I was like, I don't care, it can't be call by, and it was indeed call by. And he tries to hit the Ray, but I drew bell, I attack directly, and I send a Widow. Now the reason I'm not playing this really aggressive is because I think with Striker, if you're ahead against a deck like VSK9, you should very much sit on your lead and only be aggressive when you're trying to go for game. That's why I was playing really slow like this, because I also have a D barrier, so he's not really killing me with any of his exceeds or anything. So I add the engage back, I do talents to look at his hand, I see Sue and Retaliating C. Now I can very much play around the Retaliating C by not activating linkage. So I'll just let him keep his Retaliating C and get rid of the Sue in case he draws Xiaolong, because that would start being annoying. And you don't know if you could also draw a Jokul or something, I don't know. But either way, I search the Widow, and I set 2. Now I didn't go into Shizuku because it was banished because of Shifter. And he just attacks, I don't care, I activate Ray. And he ends his turn, I tag into Kaguri to add the engage back. Now he couldn't activate this dude to make it unaffected by card effects, but I have the Widow to check that. And I search multi-roll so I don't have to do this game of chicken. I'm just going to activate the multi-roll, send something, and then he can't respond, and the game is over. Next is this game. Now this guy is actually a really good player, and I lost. It bothers me, but this was actually one of the most fun games I've played in a long time. I kinda wish I won. I really panicked here at one point, and that's why I lost. And I think like I do deserve to lose because I like panicked and misclicked, but I think that's fine. So he activates this thing, searches Eldam, and I was thinking this is Maliss because he has the Maliss. Like usually people who play with this board, they are Maliss, and he has the Maliss sleeves. But I activate Maxi and he has Ash. And he goes Swen, and my blood pressure was rising because I could feel the Cherubini coming. And he activates Vision and discards MST, and he goes into, what do you call it, Varurun. And he adds the MST back, and I was thinking this is insane technology, maybe I should do this. Cause like, if you have to start with Swen, your Eldam could still add the MST, and then when you link them off, you can add like the MST back after you discard it with Vision. I thought that was pretty cool. And he goes and he summons a symbol skeleton, and I was like, what the heck? It's actually a Radiant type from an Orcust, pretty cool deck. He pitches a Harp, so this is pretty rough for me. I know he has MST and Babel in hand, and he sends a Crescendo. Now this is actually really, like, not a lot of people do this, but this is actually a really good line, because if you add the Crescendo back with Enlil Gersu, the opponent won't know where you set it. And like MST is pretty popular in this meta, so that's actually a really smart thing to do. And he goes Enlil Gersu, or he banishes Crescendo with Galatea I for Enlil Gersu, and then he adds it back. He goes Skelly for Gersu, he goes into Link 2 Galatea, he puts the Harp back in his deck, and he sets the draw spell. And he discards the Harp from hand. He goes into Dingirsu, attaches a skeleton, and he activates Babel and sets 3. Now, not a lot of people end their Orcust board like this, but I think this is actually like a really good board. And more people should probably do this. The way this guy plays is really impressive. I've seen his gameplay, like he uploaded a video of the time he got first in rated, and I thought it was really impressive. Like, this guy's like so good, and I really enjoy playing against players like this. Next I draw phase Eldam because now when you're actually against good players, you want to not give them any information on what deck you're actually playing. So if I do this and I have to discard a striker spell, it's going to completely change how he's playing. So I want him to be under the assumption that this is either Maliss, actually Radiant Typhoon, Salamangreat, or something that would use the Radiant Typhoon engine. I do not want him to ever think that I'm playing striker. And I do this to draw or add MST, and he summons back Galatea I add the MST, and I don't want my MST getting crescendoed, so I'm going to do the draw too, and he doesn't crescendo or ash or anything on that. And he pitches the NT8000 Sirius, and he adds Wand. Now, I could have call byed that, but if he has Maxi or Ash or something like that, I value the call by on that much more, and I still want him to think I'm playing Radiant Typhoon. So I summon Eldam, he chooses to pop Eldam, which is understandable. Now I go Swen, and I choose to add Chant. I go Talons to take to force the counter trap, because I could have taken Enlil Gursu. I do this to add the MST back. Now it's pretty obvious I'm not playing Radiant Typhoon because I would have added one from deck, I think. I go for Ray, and he call buys. Now this actually ruined my day, because like I was feeling really confident. Now because this on his turn, if Ray is ever like killed, she can't come back, and like now I actually have to waste my battle phase crashing. But you know, I have call buy as well, so it's only fair. And I do this to target the Babel, and I chain this. And luckily he doesn't have Impulse, because his last card is MST, because I know it's MST. And he does this to steal my 0, and I search for Engage. I go Engage, search drones. If he has Impulse in hand, I'm screwed, but he doesn't. I'm able to safely go into Kaguri, add back the Engage. I engage. I add back. I search a Widow. I do Widow, take the Dingirsu, and I take the Enlil Gursu. I go into Amatsu so I can go into Azalea. I choose to pop the Babel. Actually no, I pop the MST because it doesn't make sense to pop the Babel, and I don't want him popping my back row in the end phase. That's why I did it like this. And now he's going to try to Dingirsu, get rid of my Azalea, because Ray is call byed, and then I'll be stuck with this on board, and I'm linkage locked, so I can't go into Typhon, and he recognizes that because he's actually a good player. But I drew call by, and he has a second skeleton engraved, so I don't have to call by the Dingir, so I can call by the skeleton instead, which will hurt him on his next turn. And now I go for Zeke. I banish the Sirius, and I go for Shizuku, and I set the linkage. Now I go for Lemnis, shuffle back 3, and put my what's her name back in my extra 0. And right away he goes draw phase Crescendo, and he adds a Crescendo, adds MST to force my linkage, or maybe he didn't know it was linkage, I don't know. Now he summons Galatea I by banishing Enlil Gursu. Now this is pretty annoying, although this isn't a quick effect with Babel. The moment that Enlil Gursu comes back, he could turn player priority, take my 0, and I would have to tag out right there. Now he goes into another Galatea. I decide to pop it on summon because I don't want him summoning the World Crown to the zone that this points to, because then my 0 won't do anything. Now what happened here was my timer was really low, and I meant to activate Lemnis, but I was like mashing right click, and like I right clicked over the Lemnis, so I can't link Ray off into Kaguri and add back Engage, and that pretty much cost me the game, because now I can't tag Ray out because she's hit by call by. But misclicking is like part of your it's like your fault if you do it, so I can't really be too upset, and the opponent played this perfectly, so there's like nothing wrong with losing like this. and cause like and it's pretty unfortunate because I was gonna live too, because usually when they start with crescendo they can't actually kill you. And where is the crescendo anyway? I mean, he has crescendo, so it actually doesn't even matter, because he would just negate whatever. And if I try to like Ray, he could what do you call it? He would crescendo the tag out if I try to turn player priority to dodge and low burst him. So it's fine to lose games like that, especially when the opponent plays well. Next is this game. I won the coin flip here. I have a pretty good hand. I decide to chant for Eldam and draw phase. I chant for MST. I don't use vision. I Eldam for Swen. I Swen for vision. I Camellia. I send and engage. I draw 2, discard the other vision. Engage for that. I add engage. The more I'm looking at it, I think it actually didn't make sense to use the engage there, but whatever. I normal the Rose to get her engraved. I add back an engage. I search for Widow. And I set 5. I didn't activate this because I already have drones for follow-up and I have 2 linkages. So I don't actually think I'll ever die. And he activates the Ryuge Feel spell, and he gives up after it gets MST'd. So that was like a lot of time wasted on his part. He should have just given up, I guess. Next is some guy called Yuki or something. I'll see what happens here. He goes Synchro Overtake, he summons Mix, he summons Q summons a Rose Whip because the ban list isn't in effect yet and people have to use their crutches, so he can change my top deck and look at my hand, and it doesn't matter, so I just give up. But you know, sometimes that happens. Next is against this guy. I won the coin flip here. He activates Fua, pretty annoying. I Eldam search Swen, he Veilers. Now I thought about what to do here. I could hand rip, I can draw 2, I can go Camellia, give him a draw, send engage, and do some stuff. I decide to draw 2, I draw Ray, I tag out into 0, he Veilers. I was gonna add, what do you call it? Widow. And I link off into SP. It does give him a draw, but I don't care. I have Bell, Droplet, SP, 0, this to dodge, call by on my 0, and then MST. He has a full hand, and this isn't exactly the most optimal board, but you know, sometimes you have to make do. This guy starts with Synchro Overtake. I don't like using Bell there because like they could just activate another one, but I just wanted to keep him off the extra body because like if he has another one after that, I guess it's better for him to have less bodies. He goes into Q. I decide to do this by getting rid of my Lemnis and negating the Q, then getting rid of it. So he has to he has Cool and what's her name? He has Rotary and Veiler. I don't want him going into Typhon, but then I decide to pop the thingy. Like, I mean, I guess I should have let him go into Typhon, then pop it, because then, because like he could have drawn something there, and that would be annoying. Because like if he goes into Typhon, he can't play after, so I should have let him go into it there. And I don't think they run level 2 synchros. But either way, I get my SP back. And I have this engrave. So I think I could kill, maybe not. I go SP, I go 0, and I blink off Rose. Yeah, so I can kill. I do this, and I send the engage just in case he has an Ashe for my 0. And he does indeed have the Ashe lookalike. But either way, I go for Camellia, send a card. I know his last card is Veiler, right? And I linkage, and he has to give up because he has to draw. What do you call it? He has to draw Desires into a starter and Kewl Tune synchro, and even then he's still getting what do you call it, hit by Widow Anchor. And next is this game. I lose the coin flip here. Next, he activates this. Now this is a pretty weak start, but I unfortunately do not have a hand trap for this. So he normals clip, goes for Q. For some reason he adds it. I don't know. Oh, I guess he was playing around like Fuor or Maxi, so I guess adding it's fine. And he does this so he can look at my hand and control my top deck and get his searches and all that stuff. Now for some reason he decides to give me the D barrier. Now I don't think that's a very good play because he knows my hand, and he knows that this hand can beat this board, and if this board loses, he's getting D barriered and the game is over, so I don't know why he did it like this. I go for Swen. I do this to add MST. I force the what do you call it, the quick play. I do this for Ray, he ashes. I go for Swim for Vision. I Vision for draw 2. I Talent or Thrust for Engage, and he gives up. Not sure what he thought was gonna happen. You know, sometimes that happens. And the very last game was someone conceding for me because he was like Master 1 and it was my rank up game, so I'm just not going to show that. Instead, I'll go into some 2 other games I have saved. One sec. I don't know why the screen cut out there. I think I alt-tabbed. Now, 2 other games I wanted to show were this, because I thought it was cool. It's against Kadishtu. It's the name of those girls in the new SMT game, or SMT 5 Vengeance, the Kadishtu, the 3 sisters. So maybe, since his name is Kadishtu, I'll put on their theme really quick. Let me see if I could find it. I'm pretty sure I have it. Yeah, this is the Kadishtu theme. I'll be playing this for the rest of the video, so please enjoy. Alright, I lose the coin flip. He starts with well, the music, the sound of the music is so different. It's ominous. He adds Chant and he has Maliss sleeve, so I feel my blood pressure boiling. He adds MST and does this, gets his draws, goes for Cherubini, goes for Lizardos, banishes the Dormouse. He sets that, goes into White Binder. He summons his girl back. He adds the Marcher, discards an Imperm. That's never a good sign. He draws 2, adds the Marcher back. Banishes White Binder, summons White Binder back. Now because he did it like this, he actually didn't get a bunch of life point gain because he didn't summon what do you call it? White Binder or Heart's Cryptor off the GWC. Now he goes into Splash Mage, summons what's her face, goes into Allied Code, and he summons the Trans Code, he adds the MST back. Honestly very annoying since I'm Striker. And he sets 2. So I know one of them is a Maliss Trap GWC in the middle or something. So I start with well, I realize that this is a very bad situation, and because he drew so much, he probably has a drawl. So I activate this and this. He tries to stop it. I chain Droplet. He should have, like if he was him, he would have chained Allied Code. Because then I don't get the extra draw off Engage, and he's drawing me anyway. But he's clearly not him. And I choose to add, but I can add back the linkage from Grave. I go Thrust to set, what do you call it, Rhoda, so I'll have an extra spell engrave. He does this to banish White Rabbit. I don't want him setting anything because that would be follow-up if I can somehow survive the turn. And he does that to put the White Binder back in Grave so he can summon it back in GWC. I run over the Trans Code. He activates a Druid's Worm on White Binder. I could have tried to summon it back, but I don't want to be losing to what do you call it? Impulse. I mean, I guess I could have. Like, he didn't impulse this, so I don't know. I guess he didn't have impulse. And I thought this might have been more useful for something else. So he summons back his White Binder. Now he does like some insane throwing. Like, he should have put it there in case of Widow, because he knows I have a Widow, I think. Does he know? Oh, he probably doesn't know. But either way, it's still better there because like you don't want this getting targeted by Widow. He banishes 3, I decide to Amatsu, he imperms. Now I could have linkaged here, but I already read his life at this point, because if I do that I can't kill him. So I let Amatsu get impermed. I had 3 spells even with the banishes. So Cryptor comes back, and I adjust my glasses like a nerd. I calculated lethal here. I run his ally code over. I linkage for Hayate, swing for 25, send Ray, and if you notice he doesn't have any Maliss cards banished. And I steal his Heart's Cryptor and run his White Binder over, and just like that, he loses. And this was the other game I wanted to show. I guess there's only the Battle Kadishtu theme. Oh wait, there's a longer one. Oh, no, I'll just do the battle one. Okay, this is against Yummy. Starts with Lollipo for Snatchy. Add Mignon. Adds Cupsy. Adds Cupsy and Marshmallow, I think? Yeah, Marshmallow. Summons Cupsy, adds Surprise, goes into a Snatchy, goes Snatchy for Marshmallow, Marshmallow for Surprise, goes into Lollipo Way, Lollipo Way summons back Marshmallow and Cupsy, goes into Metal Marcher, summons back Lollipo, goes into Herald, links those off for Elf, and then Elf for level 2, Cupsy Way. They're both protected by the Elf, and he sets Surprise. Now he has 4 cards in hand, so I can assume they're hand traps, but he has a Herald here. So I can also assume these are like Droll and Max C. But either way, I start with normal Hayate. Now if you'll notice, he did not actually make Linkuribo, so I get to run this over. Now I run into the Elf, he could have negated my Hayate, but a Rose would come back anyway. So Rose comes back. Now honestly, I think he should have negated this, because like now his thing's negated, and I do this to go into Camellia. I send a card, and he tries to revive his level 2 Synchro, but I have Shark Cannon, so now he has to revive a Yummy, which is probably Marshmallow to add the surprise back. Yeah. Now I thought about what to do here. I add a card. I added this because I was thinking about adding, what do you call it? Multi-roll, but if I get drolled, I would look like a clown. And indeed, he does droll me. So I go for this in case there's a retaliating C instead of linkage. I go for Kagari, add back the Lemnis because I already have a Widow. And I go into SP. Now I didn't go into 0, even though I could have, because I wanted to get rid of this, because like I think if I get rid of this, there's literally no way I ever die. Because for this to come back, I would have to activate a card while he has a Yummy Synchro on board, and he doesn't have a way of getting his other Feel Spell Engrave, unless he like plays Azalea and pops his own card. So as long as I don't activate a card, he's never getting this back. And I set 4. Also, both of his Snatchies were engraved, so I don't have to worry about the other Fuel Spell. He does this. Snatchy puts the other Fuel Spell. And now now I choose not to do anything because, like I said, I don't want this coming back and summoning a Marshmallow, and then Marshmallow places to ban his field. Now there was a lot I could have done here, but I do indeed draw an Ash Blossom. Now I could have done some stuff like try to Widow his SP, and then he could Cup C and tag out, but like I said, I don't want this Fuel Spell coming back. So I decided to normal the Ash Blossom, go into Typhon, run this over, because now he only has one more Yummy Synchro left, and he can't make any links because SP points left and right, and as long as I don't press anything, he can never SP. And that's going to be it for the narrated games this month. Now this video is pretty long, it's probably the longest one I ever put out. But hopefully it was pretty enjoyable. And I guess I should show the deck list that I used. Oh wait, I turned it off too early. Now this is the list I did use this time. It's just a list with D barrier. There's 1 talent, 1 thrust. There's 2 ashes. Well, no, I thought I was running 3, but I guess not. So I guess the third one didn't really matter. But either way, I liked this list a lot. I wasn't running Engage 0 because I was running Exciton this time. And there were a few games where I actually did need Engage 0 over Exciton. So, I don't know. I just don't think Exciton comes up that much anymore. Because there's not that much Draco Tail, so I genuinely think I should have been running Engage 0. I don't know. But either way, this list is fine. I don't normally run SP, but sometimes you can just make SP with these 2 guys and it's fine. That's why I was running her. And that's probably all for now. Thanks for... well, wait. Also, these 2 cards, you don't really need them, but it's like a player preference thing. I really do like them. Now, the card I didn't run was Afterburner, and not running it actually cost me so many games, like against man players and things like that, and needing to pop Kewl Tune. So I think I would actually, like, given the chance, I would run Afterburner, like next time I have to climb. But either way, thanks for watching.